Hi, this is Dr. Harvey, and welcome to GAH 2342, Living in the Digital World. Whenever I teach this course, I like to keep it fresh, so I'll be changing it a little bit from the way I've taught it in the past, and you'll see some of the things about critical thinking that are in this course that are a little different than previous versions. So if you've heard about this course from other people, rest assured it's still very fun and very interesting. It's just maybe a little bit different than maybe what they experienced, but I think you'll really like it. The course is pretty straightforward. We do things every 2 weeks. We'll handle a different topic, and then at the end now there's going to be a final, the final month of April will be basically a debate in your groups. So let me go into the course a little bit and go over the syllabus a little bit with you now. Every time that I have new information for you, it's going to show up in your course materials section. You should also probably see an announcement a lot of times whenever I think it's best to let you know that way what's happening in the course. And if there's any changes or any important information you need, I will often send those out as announcements. So keep on top of the course. You want to kind of check in on Blackboard on a regular basis. I would suggest probably at least every other day, if not every day, just to make sure that you're keeping on top of the assignments. So here's the syllabus, here's my information. My office is J221. If you're on campus and you want to talk about anything, that's fine. Otherwise, probably the best way to get a hold of me is either to use the Blackboard email. If you have to talk with me about something that you'd rather keep private, you can also use my private email, which is harveyd@stockton.edu. Either one will be private, obviously, but some people like to talk about things outside of class, and if you want to do that, you can use that. You can also call me on either Google Voice or on my office phone. Probably the best way to get a hold of me is that Google Voice number, because that will alert me on my cell phone and I can call you right back. The course is basically about how modern technologies affect our lives. It talks about the ways that your social, your academic life is affected by these things, and also how it affects your daily life. And we get into the ethics of that and some other things. So it's just kind of an overview course of that. You should hopefully by the end of this course have a better understanding of how technology affects you and about how it affects the society around you. So the course is basically about thinking critically about the impact of technology on you and the world around you, to think about your own use of technology and sort of how you use it to meet your own goals, and then be conversant about those issues and be able to discuss those with academic honesty and integrity, which means basically critical thinking. There's no course book, textbook for this. There'll be readings and things I want you to see, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So you want to think about the things that I'm going to have you view online, the videos and some of the readings. That's basically your textbook. So you want to treat it the same way you would a textbook as far as staying on top of the readings and making sure that you're interacting with the content. Since it's all online, everything's going to be done through Blackboard. You're going to need to then take responsibility for that. So just try to make sure you stay on top of these things, especially with the discussions, because if you're not involved in your discussions on a regular basis, then that affects everybody's learning in your group. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you stay on top of that. So you want to check in, like I said, every other day at the latest. Definitely every day would be better. So if you have any sort of special needs or accommodations, let me know about those via email or give me a call. The grading will be done the normal way that we do that. And I will post that information for you inside of Blackboard, but it's basically a 100-point scale that I use, 90 to 100 being the A range, 80 to 90 being the B range, and 70 to 80 being the C range, and so on and so forth. Here's your course format. Sorry. There'll be 4 topics that we're going to cover, and I'll talk about those in a minute. We basically spend about 2 weeks of study on each one of those. I'm going to give you a video in the beginning of each, and as well as give you links to the online materials. Then you're going to go into your group discussions and talk about these things and be involved in some interesting critical thinking activities. And then you're going to post a response in an individual blog that you're going to have as well. So you're going to have 2 basic things you have to do every week, or I'm sorry, every topic, which is to be involved in a group discussion, excuse me, and as well as write a blog post. So there'll be 4 of those during the course of the time this semester. Some things that you definitely are known as waiting until the end to participate in the online activities isn't going to work. You're going to need to be on top of these on a regular basis. So don't think you can just kind of come in at the end of the group discussion and do okay. And you need to turn in your assignments. In other words, your blog has to be done by the due date. Don't worry if the blog isn't exactly what you want. I'll give you feedback on that, and you can always redo it for more points. But if you don't turn it in the first time on time, then I can't help you. So just make sure you write something and put it up there, and try to do a good job on that. Here's the blog in a little more detail. There's a tool in Blackboard, and I'll show that to you, and you'll be able to create your own blogs. It's basically a narrative of 1,000 words on each topic that's going to present a position in regards to assertion. So I might suggest something like cell phones are dangerous to people, let's say, or something like that. And then you're going to write a response to that, whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it. You're going to need to provide a rationale, some links to some sources on that, and things like that. And there's the scoring on that. Basically, I give you 10 points per entry, total of 40 points. Then in terms of the group discussions, you're going to be in groups of 5. Each time I'm going to give you something that I want you to do. I want you to be civil. I want you to make solid arguments based upon the cases, the readings, and any valid sources that I give you. And you're going to post your answers on a regular basis and also respond to each other. And I want you to do more than just say, I agree with them. I want you to post some substantial thoughts about things. And again, we'll go through this as we go. I'm not here to make this overly hard for you. I want you to learn. So, and there's a discussion rubric that I posted for you here that basically spells out what it is I want you to be able to do, with 4 being the best and 1 being the lowest. So, but again, you'll see, I'm not going to grade you on each post. So it's not like I'm going to say, well, your first post, every post has to be at this level. I'm looking more at your overall participation in the discussion. So I just want to see that you're kind of growing as you go through this. So don't sweat it if you're sort of in the beginning, not really sure what you're doing. You'll get there as we go. So, and I'll help you do that. So I'll give you regular feedback about your postings. And the final debate is listed here. I'll have a better example of this later on as we get closer to that. And all the assignments up until this are sort of building you towards this. And I'm going to give you, like I said, a more clear example of this later on in the course as we get closer. But essentially, that one person in your group is going to take the yes side to an assertion about a certain topic, and your group will get to pick that topic out of a list that I'll give you. One other person takes the opposition side on that assertion, and then the other 3 people are going to act as jury, and you're going to have to vote, but you can't just say, I agree with, the yes side. You'll have to explain why you're agreeing with it, and you'll have to come up with questions for both sides to try to clarify their argument. I'll act as moderator, and I'll make sure everything's done well. Again, don't sweat this stuff. It might sound hard, but it's really not. You'll get it by the time we get to the end of the course. I have the list of everything you need to do here. One of those is a pre-test and a post-test on critical thinking that I'm doing as part of a Critical Thinking Institute that we do at Stockton. So you'll need to fill those out both at the beginning, this coming first week, and then again at the end of the course. I'll have you fill it out again. And it's basically just looking at your critical thinking ability to some degree, as much as the test can do that. And then we're just going to look at how that changes over time. So it should be an interesting thing, and it's a good way to kind of get the course started. The other thing I'm going to ask you to do this first week is I'm going to ask you to post a bio with a picture and answer some questions that I'm going to show you in in the first posting for the course. Then we talk about entertainment in the digital age, and we'll talk about all the ways that entertainment has changed because of technology. And I'm going to ask you to do something called Circle of Voices, in which you'll post answers to some initial questions, and then you're going to talk about those ideas back and forth a little bit. Then the second topic is going to be wearable technology, and we'll talk about things like Google Glass and all these other items that are coming out, and how that changes our thoughts about a variety of things, all the way from fashion to entertainment to virtual reality to all kinds of things. And in that one, we're going to do something called Chalk Talk, which is going to involve using a tool called GAH. I'll make sure that you've got a little more detail on that one when we hit that. It's basically a collaborative drawing program, so it lets you draw circles and ideas and link them together. And you'll do that online in your groups. Next will come news in the digital age, and we'll talk about how we've changed the way that we get news and how we consume news and the sources of news. And we're going to use something called Padlet, which is basically a virtual post-it board for that. And so you'll do that in your groups as well. And then the last thing will be a peer critique about privacy in the digital age, and we'll talk about things like Facebook and Twitter and all these other social networking tools that you have, but the way that our privacy is impacted by those things and how you sort of handle that. And again, that's going to be done in a peer critique form, in which you're going to start to make statements, and then you'll critique each other's statements, and then you'll use that to create your blog. And for all these topics, all four of those topics, you're going to be responsible for a blog in response to some questions about that topic. Then once you're done with that, then you're going to start getting into choosing your debate topics. Here's some potential topics, and I'll have a longer list by the time that we get to the end of March there. You'll also be able to propose your own if you would like, and I'll certainly take this from you. And so things like keyboarding no longer to be taught in school. So your group will decide if you want to do that as a topic, or if you want to do laptops and cell phones should be banned in college classrooms. And then you're basically going to have a debate about that. And so over time, you're going to, over that month of April, you're going to go through and you're going to research your topics. And those of you that are going to be serving as proposer and opposition will craft your opening statements. Majority, you're going to become familiar with the topics. You're going to make your opening arguments. The jury's going to vote on those things, provide questions and questions about that. You're going to come back and make your closing arguments, and then the jury's going to do their final voting at the end. And then in addition, we'll redo that critical thinking post-test at that time. So that's basically an overview of the course and how it's going to operate. So the bigger question would be, what does this course look like for you? So I'll switch over here to our student preview mode. So this is what you should see when you enter the course. You should see something that looks like this. You'll only have a little bit of stuff over here. I try to keep it very simple so that you don't get overwhelmed with choices. And under course materials is where anything that you have to do as far as new material for the course will show up. So anytime I have something new, I'll put it in here and I'll give you information about that. I'm going to have a video I'm going to share with you. I'm going to review this. Obviously, this video is that one for this week. You want to review the syllabus. You're going to take the online critical thinking test, and then I want you to go into your blogs and I want you to post answers to these questions. And so where are the blogs? Well, everything else is in your course content folder. So your link to your blogs are here. Your link to your discussion groups are here, and I've already put you in groups for that. Your grades will be here, so you'll be able to see your grades, and if you want to send me an email, you can click here. So this is where you go for all that sort of information. So every time we have a new topic, what you're going to do is you're going to come into course materials, you're going to find the topic information, and then you're going to go into course content, and you're going to do your discussion groups, and you're going to go to your blogs. Let me just show you really briefly what one of these looks like. Obviously there's no video in here yet, but there will be by the time that we hit that topic. But say, for instance, here's the entertainment in the digital age link. all the links to things like readings and things like that will be on here. So you'll be able to come in here, and I have these symbols, which is basically just a bookmarking tool that I use, and you click on the link. It will open up for you. So in some cases I've got videos or audio files. In this case there's a NPR story about 4 minutes long about streaming services and the way that they're changing TV and our viewing habits. And so there's some written text, and there's also some audio that you can listen to. In other cases it'll be links to stories that I've done or that I've picked out for you guys, so you'll be able to read more about the topic. And this is really just to kind of get your feet wet and get you started on the topics. You're certainly welcome to go and find other things, and I'll explain in each case what it is I want you to do at each of these sites. And I'll have one of those for every single one of the topics. So I have one for wearable tech, I've got one for news, and I've got one for privacy. I like to keep these sort of fluid, so they may not look exactly like they do right now, but they'll look something like that. And so I'll give you a video to kind of give you an overview, and then you'll be able to go on from there. When you click on the course content link and you come in here, you'll be able to see something like this. It looks a little bit different for you. But here's where you click on your blogs and your discussion groups. Here's your discussion group link. So you click here, and we call up your discussion group. There's a lot of discussion groups. I see them all. You guys only see the ones for your particular group. If you go in here, you'll see your group members. If you go to the discussion board, you'll be able to see all the different discourses that I want you to have. And in there, I would create the links with questions for you to do, and then some explanation of what it is I want you to do. And then we'll kind of do this as we go. And I'll work with you. If you're not quite sure what to do in a particular assignment, just let me know and I'll help you out with that. As well, if you go back to your course content and you go to your blogs, you'll find your individual blogs that are listed there, and you'll probably see your own. Let me just show you real quick. Some people have gotten a jump on this course and they're already in, which is great. I really like that. And so basically you'll be able to go into your blog, and you'll be able to write up your own posts. Let me show you how to create your blog entries. You click that over here. You give it a title. You can save it as a draft if you if you don't like to, if you're afraid you're going to lose it and things like that. What I do suggest to some people, if they're really concerned about losing work, type it up in Word and then copy and paste it in. But you can just type it all right in here. Anything you type, you can go back and correct, you can highlight, you can make it bold, things like that. So you can do anything that you could do with the typical Word editor. There's also some stuff called mashups in here where you can add YouTube videos if you find those and you want to put those into your blog. That's fine. I encourage you to do whatever you want with that. As far as you can be creative, you can add some stuff to it, you can try to make it look good. I'm not grading you on that. I'm just kind of grading you on that you've really thought these things through, and you're trying your best to think critically about the topic. You can also attach things if you want as well, if there's a file, a reading or something like that you want. And then once you're ready, you just hit post entry, and that will post it up onto your blog. And so it's pretty straightforward that way. Again, I can help you out with that. There's also help built into Blackboard for this, so you can click on help in Blackboard, and usually it'll give you a pretty good idea of what to do next. So that's basically the course. I'm hoping you're going to really like it. I've always had pretty good feedback in the past about this from previous students. I don't think it's a course that's going to drive you crazy. It's meant to be interesting and to just kind of get your ideas going and get you to think a little bit about technology. So again, I hope you have a good course. Contact me if you need any help, and I'll see you online.